All right, hello everybody. How are you doing today? Good to see you. Welcome to the Weekly Collective. If it's your first time here, I'd like to extend a warm welcome. What we're going to take a look at in just a couple of moments is the next 7 days, going from this Sunday to next Sunday. And then we have a really cool special topic today, which is how to get basically your life unblocked, how to level up, using sort of a game metaphor there. So my goal today is to hopefully reveal any areas of opportunity that might be hiding from you. Sorry, I'm out of focus there. To reveal any opportunities where you can maybe find a different way, explore something that has been untapped, all that potential. I'm going to put down my puppy here. We're going to light the candles here in just a moment and get started. But a couple of quick notes before I begin. I just want to welcome everybody. I see we already have a few folks that have been kind enough to give contributions, so thank you so much. If you like to do that during the show, it does help me buy supplies and do more of these lives, so thank you. This is the way that you can do it right here. Welcome everybody. If you want to chat as well, you can hit the subscribe button. And if you ever want some reminders of when I go live, you can join me on social media. My handle's just my name on most platforms except Twitter. And just a reminder, I don't do private readings and I don't use direct messages, so that'll help you figure out if it's really me. Okay, so today we've got a lot in store. We're going to light the candles here. You can see the schedule in front of you. I'll begin with channeled messages at the beginning, where we basically connect with messages from your guides and mine on how to navigate the week. And then we'll go to the 7-day forecast after that. And I'll work through all of the messages as I go through it. All right, we're going to light candles today just to get things going in the right direction. And because one thing that I'd like to help all of you do is find some clarity too. So just imagine that you are, hold on, let's let Apollo get settled here as well. There you go, buddy. Okay, so imagine that there's a single ray of light coming down from the sun, and let's set an intention that we want to stay connected to source energy. So see yourself being protected by that ray of sunshine, and let's set an intention right now, just as Apollo continues to get settled, that we are going to connect to that divine light. All right? So as I light this candle, it's connecting us to source, and we're going to stay connected to that source. All right. Just to speed things up a little bit, I'm going to light the 4 candles from the back of the room so we can get started. In case you can't hear me, I connect with Archangel Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and then all of our guides and masters. All right. Come on, buddy. It's all good. Apollo likes to get comfy as we get started, so he's so cute. All right, Archangel Michael, please protect us, guide us, and allow us to connect to source. Archangel Raphael, allow us to focus on healing. And Archangel Gabriel, open us up to be clear channels to receive guidance in the highest forms. And to Ascended Masters and Guides, please come through and work with the aforementioned archangels. And we got Apollo under the chair, chilling out, ready to let us begin as well. All right, so first part of today's reading is the channeled messages. Today I had a really sort of busy connection in dreams with what's been going on in your life. And I want to highlight something first before we get into that, which was conversations. And for some of you, it might even be conflict negotiation was a big part of that. And it felt like for some of you, conversations might have fallen apart, or there's been some difficulty in seeing eye to eye. So I do touch upon that in the slides that I'll be showing you here in just a moment. But I think there'll be an opportunity as we look at the 7-day forecast to focus on which days are really good for negotiation and maybe which days are not. So I'll try to keep that in mind, and you can remind me if need be. All right, so let's bring up the presentation here and talk about your symbol. A lot of times what I see in as meditating or in my dreams, I will see like something in nature. Today I saw something in mythology, and that happens from time to time because I do enjoy mythology. So we got the Sphinx, which of course is part human and part, depending on which sort of myth you're looking at, it can be part like lion, and let's talk a little bit about it. So in Greek tradition, it's the head of a woman, part of the lion here, and then also the wings of the bird. And in, I think it's pretty much the same in Egyptian, but one of the main sort of differences between the two is Greek, it's typically a woman. In Egyptian mythology, it's typically male. The other big difference between the two the two mythologies would be that in Greek myth, sometimes it would consume you, it would devour you if you didn't answer it correctly, where it's typically more benevolent in Egyptian mythology. In short, it really represents a gatekeeper. And I do have the Chariot card, which has the Sphinx on it, but ultimately, what is it? It's something that stands in a path blocking you, which is thematically connected to what we're talking about today. And it could be someone that holds the key, or it's saying, wait, do it this way, or you need my rubber stamp of approval. One of the clear cards here in tarot that shows that is the Hierophant. Ostensibly, you could also say it would be the Emperor or Empress card, because they too have the power of saying yes or no. But we literally see the keys on this, and we'll see it more in the next card here in just a moment. So something or someone could be standing between you and your dream or your desire or your goal. And we're going to work to help you, if not find a way to kind of like answer that question like the Sphinx puts in front of you, or get the approval, maybe to work around completely, because this is just one gate and one opening. So a modern interpretation of this card is what you see here. It's probably my favorite in all the different decks that I own, which is this crow or raven holding the key, basically reminding you that you have the power, you always have had the power, to connect directly to source. This is a more old-fashioned Piscean way of looking at it, where there are hierarchies and gates and gatekeepers. This one is a lot more Aquarian, and it's saying, hey, we can do this, we can all do this, and that's why we show up every week, is to figure out how to find the key for ourselves, how to use our own free will, how to open up to the possibilities. So basically, this is the Hierophant too, but you are the Hierophant. You don't need that other person here. You're connected to source. If one door is blocked, you can find another, or you can create another. Additionally, if you are receiving blocks or pushback, one message from your guides may be that, why are you trying this one so much? Have you explored that or that? There could be something that's a higher calling or a better frequency match to you than what you're trying to go after. So don't limit yourself to simply one timeline, one outcome, or one gatekeeper. There's possibilities beyond what you might be imagining. When manifesting, one thing that's often very helpful is to think, I'm trying to accomplish, don't even say trying, I'm accomplishing this, and I'm open to doing this or better, all of this or better. So if you're asking for things, say, this is my goal, this is what I'm envisioning, but I'm open to something greater than this, that's a high match or a high frequency match for what I'm trying to accomplish. So all of this or greater is a simple way to do it. You can say, in my highest good. That way you're making sure that there's no hidden lessons, there's no strings attached, that you might be open to something that far surpasses your expectations. Keep that imagination open, keep the third eye open, and you have then a skeleton key that could reveal something that you didn't know existed. Now we have the card that has the Sphinxes on it. So the Chariot, if you've ever looked closely, it has two. And this is an interesting sort of card to pull because of our totem today. And it's basically directional. So for some of you, you might be in this wayfinding moment, which is sort of feeling like, where am I? Or why is this happening? Or what am I going to do next? The what am I going to do next card happens sometimes after a tower moment or a big shift, and you find yourself thinking, that may have been expected, but I didn't think it was going to happen so soon, or I didn't think it was going to happen in this way. It can also be a predictable sort of moment where, again, it could be after a breakup or graduation, or for some of you, if there's an empty nest syndrome and part of your family has moved out and you're finding yourself trying to figure out what's next, or you're with someone that you haven't had a lot of time with before. Now there's a lot of time and you're trying to rediscover the connection. Especially with that last example, we do see two Sphinxes here, and it's really soul searching that happens sometimes in partnerships. And so you may both be rediscovering who you are. You can do that together if you'd like. You may find that your journey is taking you in different directions. This Chariot's only going to move forward if both of those Sphinxes move in the same direction. If they are going in separate paths, then we have someone holding the reins and not going anywhere. So one of your jobs this month, one of your opportunities this month might be in trying to help find or redirect a group. You find your own direction or redirect a sort of group energy. And as such, people could be coming to you and saying, hey, what do you think about this? Or, you always seem to have great insights. Would you be willing to step in and assist? We really need someone with your point of view, with your leadership. So I would say you are capable of doing this, but you may not necessarily be desiring or wanting or even comfortable with doing this. But I think it's a necessary piece to allow you to have the power that we saw in this Crow or Raven Hierophant card. So sometimes we have to be thrown into that path, and you saw me click ahead. The Fool is the next piece as well. So we have all these power cards, but the next piece of this would also just be exploring, having fun, using your curiosity. And I probably will do like a YouTube short on this or something on another social network as well, just to kind of like highlight it. But one thing that I've been saying a lot is to use the inquisitive, questioning part of your mind to help you through this phase. And if you wonder why I use questions so much, part of it is because that's what we do as tarot readers, is we look at things and we ask questions. But that was also my training. My undergraduate was in journalism. So I look at things with curiosity, with an open mind, hoping to see something that I didn't before. And so when I'm faced with a block, and this is a big piece of today's question that you posed for me, that you voted on. So when some of you are thinking, why isn't it happening? I think, exactly why isn't it happening? Let's look around that. If you think I can't, I think, why can't you? And what else might there be beside this? So I just start to ask other questions around the block. The block is simply there to help you pay attention to something different. And so if you're feeling blocked, think about other things. Well, what else could I do? And why am I feeling so triggered by this? And why shouldn't I have this? Is it just a limitation of the person in front of me? Is it a limitation within? So you start to get curious and you start to ask questions that will help you understand, not like just a simple why me? Because why me can sometimes just pull you down. Why not me? And literally like what else can I do? Why is this the only thing that I'm focusing on? So just having fun and really looking at things, because sometimes when we ask the questions, we realize that we've been on a path that was projected for us, not necessarily because we wanted it, but because our parents were trying to help us on a path that was safe or something. Or we do something because it's popular, or we do something because we thought it would be good when we were 8 or 18, but when you're in your 20s, 30s, and later in life, you start to live and experience things that might pull you off that path. And there's no reason that you can't reinvent yourself several times throughout your life. So the Fool card is a nice reset button, a clean slate. And it requires and it encourages you to change up the energy, change up your environment, talk to others, use curiosity, wanderlust, which is just a fancy word for, wanting to go out and travel and explore. And literally explore, look and see what's out there. Because if you don't look, if you don't ask, if you don't reach, you're never going to know what's possible. And, I was just reading for, I think, Cancer recently, where one of the messages was ask and you may receive. A surefire way to guarantee that nothing's going to happen is to sit still and not ask. But if you ask, you've opened up a whole new realm of possibilities. So let's use the inquisitive mind, the curious mind, and also like language, asking questions to open doors. That is your key. Ask why not, what's necessary. Talk to other people. How did you do it? Questions are keys. You'll get the answers the answers are the keys, but the questions are basically opening the door and giving you what you need. So ask more. And I guess maybe because as children we're told not to, but you're adults, you can ask. And I'm encouraging you to kind of like be curious. See that clean slate and really embrace it, especially when it comes to conversations. So I was looking at you and someone that you loved, or and someone that you're very kind of like environmentally connected to. Sometimes we don't always love the people that we're working with or that we're living with, but sometimes we have to for certain reasons. And as I talk, I'm getting that sort of solar plexus kind of like knife stab that I feel sometimes when there's a tug of war of power. So what's happening is a past life energy is entering in. So it feels like there was, for some of you, either failure or disappointment. The other person didn't come through. There was something owed. There's a reason to not trust the person, historically speaking. But in this lifetime, they've worked on themselves and you've worked on themselves. In order for this to work and for both of you to get past the karma, give them the benefit of the doubt and communicate what it is that you want or expect from them. And then give them, free reign to show that they've changed. And if it was you that had this sort of not so great experience in the past where you didn't do what you said, show them, and just ask, say, give me a chance, I can do this, I have your back, and I also, we have the same common goal and common interest here. So both of you need a shot, and the best way for you to be able to get that opportunity for growth is to lead with the heart and with empathy. And I recently had an experience with someone in a management position where every time I tried to talk to them, they either, the first thing that you would get was, you again. Literally, they actually said that, oh, it's you again. How can you actually have a positive engagement with someone who sighs, rolls their eyes, and says, oh, it's you? You can't. You can try. You can say, this is a good, take a deep breath. This is going to be a good interaction, or I'm not coming to this with any animosity. But the truth of the matter is, they already sort of guarantee that it wouldn't be an optimal communication by doing that. Same thing happens when you hang up on someone, when you slam the door in their face, when you ignore them in any way, shape, or form. It just basically, it blocks that. Now, here's an interesting thing. If someone's consistently doing that, you should probably look in another direction. Those are clear indications that they are not interested in talking to you. This is not the right gatekeeper. This is not the right way of going about the communication. And sometimes they don't want any communication, and that's okay. Because what we were teaching you at the beginning here is that there's probably a better point person, and there's probably a better place to put your time and energy. But in situations that haven't gone to that point, that's the whole reason that we're tuning in to today, you can usually bring it to a better level. If you are in a position of management or power, keep an open mind when someone comes to you. And instead of a sigh or instead of that sort of block, just say, hey, how are you today? Even starting with, hello, what's going on? How are you doing? This is a good way to empathize. Yes, it's just, for many of us, it's sort of ingrained, but really, truly ask them, say, is this a good time to talk? If someone, if you have that side, just say, clearly, now's not a good time. Can I put some time on the calendar? Can we talk later? Are you okay? You seem stressed out. Is there something that I did? Is there something going on? Let me know what's happening here. And you can still diffuse it, but the main thing here is if it hasn't gone to that point, that's the hope here, is to basically say, I know we've had some our issues in the past, but let's try to work together on this. We need to do this sometimes it's just you have to work together for an hour, for a day, or you just need to get someone's signature, and then I'll say, I'll be out of your hair. So try your best to find a common interest, to even laugh a little bit at it and say, I know I'm not your favorite person, but this is something where we're going to have to work together. Okay? So use eye contact, tone, and empathy. Starting first with a smile, asking if the time is right, letting them know you care about them, letting them know that you have a common goal or common interest. If you continue to get pushed away, find a different person and enter that communication with a clean slate, a smile, and an open heart. Because you can basically learn what not to do from some of these folks that are coming at it already with the expectation that things may not work out. Okay? I want you to go in with the expectation that they can. You are the creator. Just like the crow with the key, you are rewriting your narrative with each thought, with each word, with each step. And I was talking to someone last night where, again, we were kind of bringing in that energy of curiosity. Why not? Why can't this work? Or why are you so focused on just this? So today, as we look at the 7-day forecast here in just a couple moments, I want you to think of what it is you're trying to accomplish and why can't you get there, and what else might you do if given the chance? One of the things that I like to kind of pose to folks that I'm talking to, coaching, etc., what would it be right now that you would, if given all the resources, that skeleton key, a magical debit card that had limitless funds, what would you do with your time and energy? If you didn't have to worry about bills, if you didn't have to worry about family or, pleasing others, what would it be? So think about what your soul is calling you to do. See if your path is aligning to that. And if not, ask yourself how you might get there and what you might do to open up new opportunities and new passage to that sort of goal in your life. All right. So let's move on to the 7-day forecast next. We're going to take a look at basically from Sunday to Sunday and see what energies and what opportunities are coming through. Why don't we use the Sun and Moon deck for this? It's been a minute or two since I've used this one and I like this. All right, so welcome everybody. This part of the reading is basically open to all that are present. And we will have a portion in the latter part where we're going to be looking at the elements. So until I get to that, everything that you hear and see is for everyone that's present. All right, let's give the cards a shuffle and see what's coming in. Good to see all of you. By the way, my regular time will come back next month. I did find an apartment, can't wait. I'm moving in on the 1st. So we'll have like our last collective reading here at the end of the month. And then I should be resetting my time back to 9 a.m. Pacific next month, and I can't wait. And I'm sure many of you will look forward to that as well. So thank you for your patience as I've been working through all the construction and soon the relocation. Okay. Let's tune in, take a nice deep breath, focus, and let's look at the next 7 days. This will represent today, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. All right. Thanks for all the congrats. You guys know it's been a ride, a crazy ride as I've been working through all of this. Okay, beautiful cards, aren't these? All right, we're going to work with today's energy here. For Sunday, 3 of Pentacles. What I love about the 3 of Pentacles is it's basically a guarantee that the time and energy that you're putting into something is going to pay off. And for some of you, this is also an indication that you're really, really close. And if not, actually recognition may already be incoming. So 3 of Pentacles, it can indicate for some of you, especially if you are writing or recording or somehow packaging something up, that it is pretty ready for distribution and it's ready for you to let go. There might be a couple of high level, finishing touches that you're going to put on it, but ultimately 3 of Pentacles is a card that shows recognition is incoming. While I'm talking, I'll find the traditional card just so you can see it. Yeah, it was very close. So here's your traditional 3 of Pentacles. You'll see someone basically putting the last couple touches there on that archway and people reviewing it, kind of nodding their head saying, this looks good. It can indicate graduation for those of you that might be trying to go after some sort of degree-seeking program or training. And it's, again, energy and effort well invested, which I like. The other thing that this can represent is disseminating, distributing, or sharing thoughts through teachings or through writings or through a curriculum of some sort. So if you're ready to do that, this is also a good time and the right place for that. We also see this person kind of like spray painting on the wall, which I kind of see as a metaphor for modern forms of distribution. So social media could be a really great outlet for some of you to do what you're trying to do as well. And kind of have your own approach or your own unique take on what it is that you want to do. Don't repeat what's been done before. And what I like on, like when we compare the two, it's almost like he's standing in archways or gates. And this one is someone that's creating something that wasn't there. So traditional, having to sort of like walk through that, and then a non-traditional, which is sort of showing that I can do whatever I set my mind to. Use the power of written word today. So write it down, make a plan, make an outline, sketch it out, put your goals or desires or your goals and intentions, I should say, on paper. And this kind of solidifies things a bit. It's telling the universe that not only am I dreaming it, not only am I sort of like what-ifing it, but I really feel like it's something that's tangible. I've taken it from here and I've put it into the physical realm by sketching it out. And then I like to say there's a combination of things you can do. You can think it, you can write it, you can say it, then you do it. It's almost in that order, because each step of the way is bringing it more and more life and more energy. So today's a really good day. You should be productive. Focus on really anything that you want to put your Midas touch on. You're going to see a lot of positive traction, but particularly anything that's written, any contracts, finishing up anything that you needed to finish up, and sharing it with others. It's a good day to do all of that. As we move into the first day of the work week, we have the Prince of Swords, or the Knight of Swords reversed. And whenever I get a Prince in reverse, it's saying slow things down for a moment, make an edit, make a change, make a review. This one would be particularly true of any contracts. So this would be circling something, crossing something out, redlining something, and saying, hey, we agreed to this, not this. So that's one thing. Slow down and read the contract. It's also about taking constructive criticism. And of course, you're going to take it with a grain of salt, but it is a listening card. So when we get any of the swords cards, particularly the court cards in reverse, it's saying there's power in speaking, but there's even more power and more that can be revealed when listening. So keep your ears open, keep your eyes open, pay attention to signs and signals, pay attention to feedback, edit, change, revise as necessary. The pause that you take to listen, revise, or basically just be present in the moment will save you time when you decide to focus on moving forward. So it's not so much a delay as it is a checkpoint. And so take a moment, check, do a gut check, do a fact check, and then when you're ready, you can proceed. And it should be a very good day when it comes to, even if you need to give news that you don't want to give, difficult sort of communication. This card says the power exists when you kind of get in and out of that, when you don't focus too much on kind of like talking yourself in a circle. If you have to say or do something, and then wait and see what the other person has to offer. You can also use the power of the word no. It's a very helpful word to put in limits. And that's going to help you get ready for the energy of Tuesday, where we see a little bit of a balancing act. We have the Two of Pentacles here. So there are two primary balance cards when we're looking at resources. Six of Pentacles, there's a lot. You have more than enough. Just usually not everything that you want in the timing that you want, but it still says what you want is accomplishable, and all you're going to have to do is make some alterations on the timeline or the focus for the day. The Two of Pentacles requires considerably more discernment. You have two things and they're pulling you in different directions. They could be equally as rewarding or alluring, but if you are constantly kind of dancing between the two, you're never really doing either to 100%. So if you could take one of those and put it to the side, I always like to say, make the Two of Pentacles an ace. Let that ace be your focus. See where it brings you. See how much you can get done when you're not sort of labored and sort of, I would also say, pressured to kind of pull yourself in two directions. So delegating, using the word no, as we said, also simply reallocating and saying, all right, even if it's not like the 50-50 thing isn't working, but you could decide to do something more like 70-30, or maybe just barely touch that. Maybe it's 10% of your time and energy and 90% is going to the other. But you can really throw the balance in the favor of one of those two if you can't put it completely onto the back burner. And that's going to help you. And a change of environment, asking people maybe not to contact you for a couple hours so you can read through something, so you can come to a solution. Whatever kind of boundaries you need to put in place, find the balance. Obviously, we can take it at face value as well, which would say don't overcommit. You need to definitely be mindful of not saying like, oh yeah, I can do that, I can do that, I can do that. So discernment is your key on this one. It's better to say not yet, not today, or an outright no, than to overcommit and then find yourself at the last minute sort of scurrying around, working too hard, or not being able to make the deadline or to make the commitment, okay? So know your limits and stick to those limits, and understand that focus is the way out of the Two of Pentacles. it can be two equally great things, but one requires more attention, and it's better to give it that attention on Tuesday. So focus, focus, focus. As we get to the middle of the week, you're busier, and it feels like you're doing all right here. Five of Wands gets a bad rap, but ultimately it's just a card of working and working hard. The reversal of this one is saying, for many of you, to not work yourself into oblivion and to also not feel that sense of, why am I doing this? And this happens sometimes. I like to compare the Five of Wands to a hamster wheel, where sometimes you just feel like you're going faster and faster and faster, but you're not going anywhere. So take a moment to see if there's an efficiency, a fancy word to say basically, is there a way that I can do more with less effort, or is what I'm doing actually moving this in the right direction? Because sometimes we simply do it because it's expected, because it's an old process that may be inefficient, because we've been told to say, or we've been told to do what we're told rather than asking questions. So remember that if you have an idea, you can present it as a question and say, have you thought about this? Because I tried it here, I got that done faster. Maybe we could give this let's give it a try and see if it works. Or you could do it and then ask for permission later and say, hey, I did this, I saved some time, I hope you don't mind. I saved some money. And, usually if you can kind of frame it up in a positive way, it's going to be good. So it seems like there's an efficiency to be found in what it is that you're working on. It feels like you could let go of some of the need to control everything. Delegation coming through multiple times here in today's reading. So ask for help, or let people know that you're not going to be able to do everything at the expected time, and proactive communication is key. Okay, we have the Hermit card coming through for Thursday. This is a day where you probably will work better on your own. Not everybody has the freedom to do so, but if you are working for a company where you're allowed to work off-site, telecommute, remote work, whatever you want to call it, that's going to be optimal for Thursday. People may also need a little bit more, we see her holding the hourglass there. They just may need a little bit more time to themselves, or a little bit more time to be prepared for something. So this would not be the day to just surprise someone with a visit or see if they can do something else. Like, I feel like this is a day for integration, for getting things prepared. It's a really great day for research. And if you're partnering up, make sure that the two of you have time to, like, for a project or for some sort of a task. It's going to be sort of an ebb and flow. So you come together and then you work a little bit independently and then you come together. This is a sort of eureka moment. The Hermit is really good for discovery. So discovery and research, or research and development, that's the best thing that you could be doing on Thursday. And then you can come back together on Friday. So we have the Seven of Wands here, which is figuring out how to bring all of this together, getting a lot done, making up for any lost time. Friday's going to be a productive day for everyone. This is the card of capability. Seven of Wands, oftentimes you can surprise people with just how capable you are. One thing to be mindful of with this is, because you're doing a good job, or historically have been, sort of like hitting it out of the just out of the best expectations here, what could be happening is people are coming to you and saying, hey, could you do that again? Or, I know you're busy, but... So what you want to do here is remember the lessons that you learned on Tuesday, and pick and choose wisely what you want to put your energy into. The Seven of Wands is much, much, much stronger than the Two of Pentacles. It's one away from Eight of Wands, which is basically predictable action, productivity, group support, just a great card for business and life in general. It's like a bunch of rockets flying in the air. But the Seven of Wands is the test, the sort of moment of truth. So on Friday, what you want to do is remember, I don't want to be defensive. Not like, I don't want to get defensive if someone asks a question. Just figure that they're hopefully having your best interest at heart. If you feel like something's going astray, just say, is there something that I need to be aware of? Is there something else going on? Sounds like you're, concerned or whatever. So you can ask questions again, but try not to go on the defensive. If you need to stand up for your time and energy and hold or push back a little bit, you can do that for sure. And if there's an opportunity to work smarter, you don't have to do everything. Just because you can do everything doesn't mean you should, doesn't mean that it's optimal. So this is a card of reclaiming and finding balance so that you can get to that Eight of Wands. It's going to be a very productive day. If you have to burn the midnight oil or push, Friday would be the day to push because you'll get through that. It's not something you want to do all the time, but I definitely see this as a day where you can make up for lost time. Focusing on the energy 6 days from now, as we look at next Saturday, we have the Star card. We actually have a great weekend aligned for you next weekend with the Star and the Prince of Cups here. The Star for Saturday. So Star upright is really positive because it basically shows that not only can you do anything you set your mind to, but you're positioned to sort of shine. The card reversed as it came can show that sometimes we are set up for success, but we are afraid to step into our power, step into the spotlight, that we might be trying to change to appeal to somebody else's version of us that they want to see, their wishes, their dreams. And there's always a reminder with this that what makes you special is what makes you different and unique. So it kind of reminds me of the Little Mermaid because we're looking at her here. One of we see the mermaid as the star. In that story, she wanted something that she didn't have, and she gave up a big part of herself to achieve that, realizing that that sacrifice probably wasn't worth the trade-off. So if you have to change yourself so much that you're not yourself, it's not worth it. So be authentic, shine, do something that makes a splash on Saturday, and all of those things should be rewarded. It's a good day to be out in public. It's a great day for dating. It's a great day for meetings. And the main thing here is to not worry so much about how things are being received. Focus more on what really makes you tick, what really makes you excited, and trust that people are going to connect with that. But yeah, someone says they're having a yard sale. Yeah, anything that's public. If you have to have a face-to-face communication or a date or whatever, really nice time to be out there, and people are interested in you and what you have to offer, however that might sort of shake down for you. As we look at next Sunday, we have the Prince of Cups in reverse. So this is a self-care day. If you're like me and you work, that's okay. You can work in the morning or work during the day, but do something special for yourself in the evening or whenever you have that free time, and pamper yourself, basically. So take an Epsom salt bath, take an extra long walk, call up an old friend and sort of like let them know what's going on, get some of that energy out. Do something artistic, take a day trip. It can be any number of things, but the Prince of Cups shows that your heart needs and wants to open up, and the way that it's going to do so is through something that you do to show love for yourself. And yes, you can spend time with someone that you love, and yes, this is a good day for dating as well. We actually have a great weekend for socializing, let's put it that way. So however you want to interact with others, you're positioned really nice way for both days. I just want to see these cards in the upright. So being yourself, having fun and not editing too much, and then really doing something that you want to do. I think that's the key way to bring the Prince of Cups up. So if you're going to have a date on the weekend or do something social, pick the venue, pick whatever it is that you want to do, especially on Sunday, and then just react accordingly too. Be yourself. If someone asks, what do you think? Don't change yourself. Don't change your views to suit others. Let's do a quick mini review, and then we'll go on to the next portion of the reading. So today, if you're watching live, Three of Pentacles, finish what you started. It's a great day for contracts, for negotiations. If you wanted to look at longer term plans and goals, like should I sign up for this class, or what would it be like to move here or whatever, it's a good day for all of that. Sort of putting plans into play. Today's a great day to do that. Revising things is really the power of Monday. If there's something that you have to say where it's constructive criticism, if you have to say no, if you need to revise, etc., slow down, listen, and get your bearings on Monday. That's going to help you on Tuesday to make the best decisions possible. You're going to have to focus and reallocate. Can't do everything for everyone. If you can focus on one thing on Tuesday, that's going to be best. On Wednesday, you'll be able to see some traction and some work. You might need to find a way to get inspired. There may be an more efficient way to do something, and you might need to bring that up to someone. But ultimately, this is your busy day. So however you can stay inspired and not get burned out, that's going to be the important thing. Teamwork is key as well, so finding a way to cooperate rather than compete is key. And this is, on Thursday is the day that you're going to kind of focus more on yourself and give other people space too. It's not the best day to surprise someone, to try to get someone to pay attention to you. Everybody kind of just focus on themselves and on growth and research on Thursday. That's going to be best. You can make up for lost time on Friday. You can actually push something through to the finish line. This is a pushy card, particularly when reversed. So if there's something that you need, you have the capacity to get it to the finish line, which is great. Weekend is looking really good for social and public sort of engagements, particularly Saturday is the best day actually, because the star is one of the best cards you can pull. You're going to have to practice self-care on Sunday, but you can still have fun. Just make sure that you get to choose what you're doing and that you're not forced to do something, because it does feel like you're extra sensitive and open. So I want you to be in a place where your heart is open and flowing. Okay. Overall, looking good. This is a very manageable week ahead. Okay. I'm going to just kind of rearrange the cards as we're talking. If you just joined, we went through channeled messages. We just did the 7-day forecast. We're going to take a look at another area that I call blessings and blocks, pretty self-explanatory, looking at what to embrace and possibly what we might need to shift or move around a little bit for the week ahead. I really like this deck. I might use the same for blessings and blocks, and then we'll change it up when we get into the elemental forecast. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to blessings and blocks and see what the universe has in store for you. Okay. Blessing and block. All right. What a great card to come through for a block, because it's not really a block. But sometimes our limits are blocks. So the blessing this week, and we keep getting your cups cards in reverse and a lot of your knight or power cards. It's the sort of like non-power cards that kind of came through upright, and it's the power cards that came through reverse, which is interesting. So some of you are actually just really, really emotionally tapped in. So, you know, we still have a king here. A king is a king. King of Cups is fantastic. I think I said knight initially, but King of Cups. So with the King of Cups here, your emotions could be, I would almost say it's not uncontrollably, but without a shadow of a doubt, they're pulling you in a direction. The blessing is you know what you want, you know what you don't want. And so you have to decide what to do about the emotional trigger in your life. If you can use it to your advantage, then you are this King of Cups riding on the white horse, on the frothy sort of ocean, and you're in control of things. You're reining in that emotion. But if you are the King of Cups in reverse, you are feeling somehow controlled by or beholden to the emotions. And so your blessing this month is to know who you are and honor that. Otherwise, the blessing can become the block. So I would say the important thing here is to trust your heart, listen to your emotions, listen to where it's bringing you, and then decide how you're going to do it. So you're connecting your crown chakra and your heart, and basically saying, all right, this is how I feel it. This is how I see it. How am I going to do this in the best way possible, so that you're not just being driven by the heart space. Okay. So knowing yourself and knowing what you want. Yeah, I would call that a blessing. That's good. The block this week is basically you can create self-fulfilling prophecies if you're not careful. So the Magician is one of the two most powerful manifestation cards. Three, I would argue. The two in the major arcana are the Magician and the High Priestess. The minor arcana, it would be the Two of Wands. All of these work towards manifestation. The Magician, when distracted, can lose focus and then sometimes feel like they're out of their power. So the one way that you can get your power back is to focus. The one day of the week that's going to be most challenging for many of you could be Tuesday, because we had the Two of Pentacles. So don't overcommit. And sometimes for those of you that are, again, working too fast or too hard, it's about delegating. It's about stepping back a little bit. And then the other thing here is, when you think to yourself a limiting thought like, this isn't working, this never happens, I don't have luck in this area, you are putting it out into the universe that you're closed to the reverse of that. So do your best to think affirmatively, which is, I'm open to finding a solution. It's been frustrating to be blocked. Show me what else is possible, because I believe there's more than this. So you can express frustration to the universe, but in a proactive and an affirmative way. I know that I'm capable of more. Help me find it. And fun little aside, and in a recent example, when I wasn't seeing what I wanted, and I've been searching since April. Actually, I've been wanting to move for a couple years, but because of the pandemic, I put it on hold. But I started in April, had not the best of luck in doing this, and I just sat down last weekend, actually, before the holiday here in the States, and I just said, it's time. Show me, help me find this, and I found it. And so I had to kind of change my approach. It wasn't desperate. It was just very deliberate and very positive. I'm like, today, it has to happen today. We're going to find it today. I don't know how, and I sat there and worked with my guides and worked with keywords in my head and found the space. And it all worked out. It took about a week for everything to manifest. But for me, that was, one of the key things that I did was I stopped working with an agent. I was working with the realtor, and I wasn't liking what I was seeing. And no disrespect to the agent, they were great. What I realized is it was more powerful to do it myself because speaking of the Hierophant and looking at what we just talked about, I was working with a filter, but I had my own filters and I had a direct connection to source. That person was only maybe 1/50th, focusing on me. They had a lot of other things. So it was a weak conduit into manifestation. So when I just sat at the computer and then I called the person directly and they didn't want to work with an agent either. We all were in the same mindset, like let's cut out the middle person and just work together. So it worked. So you sometimes are your agent, the best agent for yourself of change. And that's one of the messages that would also come through with the Magician is you've always had the power. So use the power. So there you go. Let's go ahead now and focus on the next portion of the reading here. We're going to move on to the elemental forecast, looking at fire, earth, air, and water. This is the one portion that is sign specific, but everything else that you see here is open. So let's use Star Seeker Tarot for this particular portion. And the elements are, again, fire, earth, air, and water. I'll break down those into all of the 3 subsets as I go through it. Let's pull the cards first, and then we'll talk more after that. Fire. We have 2, no, just 1 for earth. Okay, earth. Air. Water. All right. Let's begin with my fire signs. So this is going to be Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. So the 2 of Pentacles message that I talked about earlier is coming through for all of you again. So the card was reversed, which is saying for many of you, you are very, very much aware of and ready to step away from something, someone, or some approach. So the encouragement in the next 7 days is to do just that and say, I choose this. That's kind of interesting because there is a choice in the 2 of Pentacles. Someone in your life may be needing or wanting to hear that, like, yes, you're the one, or yes, this is my decision, or just an affirmative yes. So know that there will be power in the commitment to a certain person, place, or thing, and know that that's then going to really help you embrace the hidden ace that is in the 2 of Pentacles. So this is your chance to focus, to embrace, and to know that there'll be another time and another place for the thing that you're putting to the side, or maybe just that's not you, but there is something that is very much worth your time and effort this week. So discernment, focus, and then declaration that, yes, I choose this, this is what I want, or we're doing this. That's your power this week. For some of you, you may be feeling a little bit unsettled or unsure of something. Remember that if you've just begun something, you've just started something new, that there's always going to be that moment of the dust settling. So the 2 of Pentacles always carries with it a little bit of getting your footing, right? And some of you may also be pushed between 2 opposing forces. The same message that I would say with the Moon card I would apply here, which is you're walking your own path. And I think then the key thing for my fire signs this week is to remember that unless your title and role is that of mediator, let them sort it out. and empower them and just say, you know, I wish for your happiness, I wish for your success, but this isn't maybe something that I need to get involved with. I'm not the right person. So you can extract yourself from being put in the middle, unless it's your job function or unless you really want to be there. Focus on what matters, because being in the middle can be the Two of Pentacles too. The dust settling can be the Two of Pentacles. Overcommitment can be the Two of Pentacles. So the key thing that you want to do this week is not overcommit, to focus, to not put yourself in other people's energies if you don't need or want to be there or have any business in being there. And in doing so, you're going to have a productive week, because it's basically an ace, the Two of Pentacles, that's being distracted. That's how I look at the Two of Pentacles. So find your focus, you'll find your power. All right. So you're going to have a good week, but you have to have a little bit of a reset today, or really quickly in the beginning of the new week. For you, we actually got that card around Tuesday, and this card titled it Change. So there has to be a change in approach, and that's going to be your power. All right. Let's move from fire to earth. We have Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn next. You have a pretty great card. The illustration is not so great, or I should say the illustration is great, but the card sometimes can freak you out. But I love the way this looks here. So we have the Nine of Swords. We have the bear, and I actually love bear totems because they're power. And what's happening here, though, is your power is being diminished by fear. We see all the swords pointing at this woman, but I almost see the bear as the true version of herself. So I looked at this and I thought, I like this card, even though I shouldn't. So I think you have a really great opportunity in front of you, a really great week ahead, but there's something that you're putting in front of yourself that makes you feel like it's going to fall apart. They're not going to like me. Sometimes when you're when we're younger, when you're a kid, you get all worked up over a test or whatever, and then you go in and you ace it, right? You kind of on some levels know, I couldn't have studied any more than I did. There's a difference between like, I really didn't prepare, and then just thinking like, I wish I had more time. And we all know, we've had someone in our circle of friends where they say it's not going to work out, and you're like, I know you're just you're just saying that. So I get a little bit of that with this, which is give yourself more credit. And if there is something that you need help with, ask for it. But I'm seeing mostly a fear that's going to be overcome, and you're going to find that inner bear, that inner power this week. So face your fears, and the main way that I do that is through education. So if I'm afraid, I don't know something about something, I research it. If I need to talk it out, I talk to someone about it. But what I see every time I look at this card is just the bear. So there is a power that's coming alive within, that's been hibernating, that wants to show itself. And the difficult thing for you is how do you let that out? And as I'm looking at this particular card, I actually see the bear is going to help her. There's a snake around her arms, which is that power. But who's to say the bear isn't there to kind of get the snake, not her? So focus on an unexpected ally this week as well. There may be someone that you look at and you're afraid to talk to them, or you're afraid of what they might say, but you have a common interest, or they're actually your advocate. So keep an open mind, release the fear, find that inner bear spirit, and face that. And you're going to have a great week. There's just a little bit of this mental reset that has to happen. And I feel like for many of you, it's happening around Monday or Tuesday. Today should be a good day, but Monday or Tuesday, you have to rethink, and then the rest of the week looks really solid. Okay? So don't freak yourself out. Especially, I see some of you that might be taking a test, or that just might be feeling judged. Use your body language to help you. By the way, if you are doing public speaking, or if you have some sort of a negotiation or face-to-face sort of thing, good posture, making sure that you're sitting up rather than kind of like pulling the energy in. So push that heart and chest out so that you're open to receive. Keep your eyes, keep your chin out, and really kind of focus on who's there. And then you're going to kind of emanate that inner bear spirit that I see here. Okay. You're going to have a good week, but you have to get past that initial fear or question. And because you are Earth, all you have to do is ground yourself in what you've done to get where you're at, on why it's important to make this happen, and then just take a few deep breaths. Do something to really ground the energy. All right, let's move from Earth to air. Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. It's a good week to be in charge. We have the boss card coming through here, King of Wands, the ultimate one. And I love that he has that little cat on his back, focusing on instinct, focusing on agility, focusing also on being able to surprise people. Because as a kid, I owned a cat, and one of the things that I remember is sometimes it would just pounce on its toys, very quick, very fast, and sometimes it would kind of get the zoomies, right? It would do crazy things. But that element of surprise and fast movement could also be something that really benefits you. So when you focus on quick wit and quick timing, this is what's going to help my air signs this week. And there is a lot of fiery energy in this, so sharing your passion as well is going to be key. And because, interestingly enough, we didn't get the King of Swords we got the King of Wands. So you're not. I trust all air signs have the ability to communicate pretty decently, or at least see what's going on, because that's part of it. What's most important this week is not so much in what you say, but how you say it and when you say it, because we have the element of timing, and then we have the passion and the demonstrative energy that you get with wands versus swords. So show it and choose your moment, and that's where the power is. And definitely take ownership and control. This is next. I would say it's the penultimate, because we would have King of Swords or the Emperor. Maybe it's the tertiary one, because you could put the Empress in there as well. But this is one of the boss cards. So I would say it's important for you to somehow have a deciding factor to steer the ship, to decide what you want to do. And if you can't say it, then show it, because you're more than capable of doing whatever you set your mind to. It's a very good card. I'm hard pressed to find anything negative here. I would say the only thing is that you may be unaware of who has your back. There's a lot of sort of hidden allies, common thread this week, because that cat's behind the person. So you also may be unaware of someone else's gaze looking at you, or wanting to get your attention. And so be aware of who's around you, because there's something there that sort of deserves attention. Okay, nothing to worry about, but someone could be flirting, someone could be trying to warn you, someone could be trying to kind of like partner up with you, and you want to make sure that you're connecting to that energy. Let's move on to the element of water, which is Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. You got a great card. You came through with your own element this month, so we have the 10 of Cups here. This is fantastic. Really good time for group activities, as I was talking about. You could easily connect this to Saturday and Sunday's energy. Even Fridays, because we've got Prince of Cups. Actually, that's right. Yeah, so I would say Sunday is probably the best for this. But no matter what we see this week is that you are sort of primed up to collaborate, to, for some of you, maybe get people engaged. And so if you need signatures, buy-in, or cooperation, you have that. And it's a great card for dating, a great card for mending any sort of relationship issues that you might have. So this is love, this is family, this is friends, and this is a really good card for networking, okay? So do yourself a favor and spend more time and energy on the people that you love and the things that you love, because as you are engaged in those activities, you'll also pull in new potential partnerships as well. So be creative, network, focus on mending or building bridges between the people that you love, and I think that's going to be the best energy for you. So very social, very fluid, very creative, very water-centric card for you, okay? So all in all, as we kind of take a look at all of the different elements, it looks pretty good. It gets increasingly better, actually, as we kind of focus on all of these. So fire, you have power, you have opportunity, but you're being pulled in two directions, so focus on one thing. Looking at earth, the most important thing for you is to recognize that you've always had the power and strength to do this. Don't let fear hold you back from accomplishing what you're capable of. Air, focus not so much on saying it, but showing it and picking your timing. Also be more aware of your surroundings, but you're set up to succeed, to lead, and to kind of be the boss this week. So it's a lot of fun. And then water, your power is in your connection to others. So, and also your ability to express yourself. So your creativity, your focus on community, family, friends, and love this week is going to set you into the best possible trajectory. So that's my advice. pretty good week ahead. Okay. Oh, one last thing was this my earth signs? Just focus on sleep quality. It may not be quantity, but when the Nine of Swords comes through, it is about getting rest. So make sure that you're getting the necessary rest to make this a good week. All right, let's see where we're at on the forecast here. So yeah, that was great. We're moving now into, I think I want to save viewers' choice and readers' choice till after the special topic. Just to kind of see where the special topic takes us. So let me reset the table here, and I'll take a look at that voting afterwards. And let's see here. If you have any suggestions for decks, let me know, and I'll let you vote on that. But let me get ready as we're talking here. All right. So let's pick a couple of decks and go from there. Maybe the True Heart Intuitive. Let's see what's calling to me over here. We've done Fountain quite a bit. Maybe if I can find Field, I can do that. Let's see what else is calling here. So perhaps the Field Tarot. Yeah, I can put the Luna Tarot there for choice. And can't even remember the name of this one here. This one's a pretty decent one. I may just do this one. It's a kind of a Rider-Waite-Smith one, Llewellyn, I believe it is. All right, I think this is a decent connection here of different ones. All right, so let me set this up, and we'll go from here. Okay, so we will take a look at the options in front of us. So we have True Heart Intuitive, and then we have Field Tarot, we have Luna, and then we have, I believe it's Llewellyn, if I can even spell that. Yeah. Let me do a quick Google on that. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. I'm just going to put option 4. I don't remember the name of this. It's a Rider-Waite-Smith deck. So I don't want to title it incorrectly. All right, so because I haven't used this in like a bazillion ages, let me show you a little bit of each one and then you can decide. So here's your True Heart Intuitive deck. Love this. Loosely based on Rider-Waite-Smith, but it does have its own special illustrations. This is very close to the Fountain Tarot, but it's in that it's kind of ethereal, but it has a little bit more defined images. Flat, but with textures. It's kind of cool. So this is a great option as well. This is a crowd favorite. I've been using it a lot lately. Beautiful foiling here with the Luna deck. Has a couple of extra cards in it as well. I like it. This is a Rider-Waite-Smith derivative that, much like the Radiant Rider-Waite, just is fun to look at. Really bright images, but it's at its core just Rider-Waite-Smith. So you got a lot of choices here, from super abstract to glittery and foily to a little bit out there to very traditional. So let's see which one's coming through. It looks like by a pretty decent margin we have Luna in the lead here. So let's go ahead and end the poll and see if Luna wins. Yes, it did, by 32%. So thank you everybody for voting. Okay, let's take a look now at the special topic today. As a reminder, it's about leveling up your life. I used a bit of a gaming metaphor there, like whenever you get to a new level, you get the little +1, you feel good about yourself. Sometimes you have to overcome some challenges to get there. So we're gonna see where the opportunity is to level up and to get unblocked. So for those of you that are feeling like I'm stuck on this level of my life, really we're trying to find the way through, the breakthrough. So it would make sense that if we're looking at that, the devil would come through at the center. All right, let me pull all the cards and we'll chat after that. All right. And this is good because this came in for some of my signs here, the Nine of Swords, so we'll talk about that. It's almost too on the nose, right? Overcoming obstacles, getting unblocked. So you're going to, basically, that's affirmation from guides in the universe that we're on the right path here. Let's pull out a little bit so we can see all these lovely cards, and let's talk about the messages coming through. All right, so I love what comes through in the catalyst position here. This is basically saying you have what it takes. You are the high priestess. See beyond the current situation, something that I've been talking about a lot. So there really are no blocks. There are just maybe hidden doors or passages or hidden opportunities. And so the whole purpose of today is to open up to the, ironically it says seer, but it's the unseen or the subtle opportunities around you. So there is a way, and that's what this is saying, and that's super powerful. It's not the obvious path though. So as we're looking at how to level up, we're going to look at the not obvious. If it was obvious, you wouldn't be here. So we're going to look at what's obvious and what's available to you. I laughed when we saw this card at the center because it makes so much sense for feeling blocked and trying to get past the block. Yeah, of course there'd be something or someone holding the strings. So we have the Devil card at the center. Now, the Devil was in reverse, which is showing that it's a weakened version of this card, that you are ready to release it, that you are open, and I'm grateful that it is reversed because you're open to releasing it or to getting past that. So how does the Devil show up energetically? It can show up in the form of a thought, I can't, I won't, I never. And then something that you want or something that you're trying to accomplish. I can't do this, it never happens. They won't choose me, or et cetera, et cetera. So you limit it before the universe limits you. And it's a form of self-protection, but it's not a very good thing because ultimately you're still hurting yourself by blocking a potential outcome. So reprogramming is key. And when you find yourself in that blocked mode, you think, today's going to be different, or I'm ready to let go of this because I don't like feeling blocked. So you can vent to the universe, but then say, show me how, and show me why I'm experiencing this block. Show me a way around it and why I'm blocked. If you are literally having some sort of a block, so let's say you've been trying to get a job, to find a home, to move to a different place, etc. If things are not coming through, it's probably because, let's say, for instance, for those of you that are trying to buy a house, that the deal falls through and the other person gets it. You never know what might happen 3, 6, 12 months down the line. There may be something in the foundation, in the house itself, where it wasn't a match, and the universe just saved you a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of effort. So that rejection was saying, look at how close you got. It's really close. There's something better out there. So even if it's the quote unquote dream house, it may not be as much of the dream house as you think. So look elsewhere, and it's a redirection. So rejection encourages redirection, and rejection is protection because it helps you find that better connection. Lots of ION words, sorry about that. Same thing happens in love. If you really, really want to connect with somebody, but they reject you, if they're not interested, first of all, you deserve someone who's equally into you as you're into them. But also they may not be ready for what it is that you have to offer. So any form of rejection is typically the universe taking the scales and saying, this isn't matching you. So you either decide to, embrace something higher, or you work on yourself a little bit so that you're energetically ready for that opportunity. But it's really just a balancing act. And isn't it amazing that that's what we have crossing it, is justice, the scales. So sometimes it really is not you. So if the other person says it's not you, it's me, and you kind of look at them and you're like, yeah, you're right, this isn't the right match. The universe is saying right now, the rejection is not so much about you, it's about setting you up for something better. So if you can take rejection in that vein, which is, there's a percentage of this that is my investment, but it's not all about me. There's also something here where that's not the right match either. That's going to help you. Now, the biggest block for some of you could simply be the disbelief in potential. I'm not deserving of this. This probably won't happen. I don't believe in me. And when you say that, that's a very powerful deterrent. So instead you want to say, I believe in myself and I'm ready and willing to wait for the right connection. There's something better out there. It's not fun going through this, but there's something better. So a limited thought that then actually pushes things away, and other people, when they come into your energy, will weigh it out a little bit and think, this person isn't quite ready for it. So it becomes self-fulfilling. Some of you are ready to leave something that no longer suits you. So let's say you've been in a bad job for a while, a toxic relationship, or a living situation that doesn't suit you. An epiphany is about to happen, this sort of realization. And it won't work a moment before that epiphany hits you, which is, I can do better than this. I'm ready for something else. This really isn't worth it. And although in that moment you may feel like things are sinking a little bit, it's just a reset. You're coming down to earth, and you're going to look and see something that is worth it, that is okay. So don't let that moment of like a reset pull you out of your power. You're just grounding for a moment. You're sort of redirecting, and then you're going to go higher. We sometimes have to kind of go up and down a little bit. This is a contextual moment in time for many of you to go higher. Let's say everything's going well. I hope there are some amazing manifestors out there having a sort of splendid time. The devil can be very Capricorn energy. So some of you may be focusing almost too much on what's in front of you. It's a very, if I don't see it, I don't believe it kind of card. So I would encourage you to see beyond the practical, to go beyond the sort of money or the power of a situation, and look again at, what am I getting out of this? Am I sort of painting myself in a corner by creating all of this? Is there some room for me to break out of some of these walls that I've created? So express your creativity, express yourself. The devil is just a low frequency version of the Lover's card. And if you look at the traditional cards in tarot, you'll see that one is in the Garden of Eden, one has the devil behind it, but they both have lovers. In one they're free, and one they're chained. And so basically, by not limiting yourself, by not limiting others, by using unconditional love and support, you can always thwart the energy of the devil and get back into the garden, get back into that energy of love and creation. So it's still there, it's always there. The devil only succeeds through the low frequency energies of fear, intimidation, doubt, uncertainty. So as we kind of decide, like, enough of that, I'm ready to be happy, I'm ready for something better, the devil goes and works on someone else that isn't kind of in that mind or in that way of thinking. The work that you've done on yourself is good. We have the Page of Swords in your deep past. Page of Swords is one of the best communication cards, even though it's not at the height of the, it's not the king or the queen. The reason I like the page is it's good at listening, it's good at delivering, it's a very good messenger. And angels are messengers, and to me, pages come through in that very angelic sort of energy. So imagine this, you are being guided in thoughts and in dreams and in the epiphany that we kind of talked about, that aha moment. So I really want you to tune into that sort of heavenly connection, or that spirit connection that's coming through. It's when we don't listen to that common sense that we kind of go down a path we wish we didn't. So if you step into a situation and you think to yourself, yes, this is it. That happened to me when I saw the house. I thought, this is it. this is what I've been looking for a long time, actually. That was it. That's all I needed to know. Then it was just a matter of waiting through the process of application. Some of you have done that with a job, and you almost have to contain your energy, right? When you're on one of those interviews and you're like, this is it. I want to get this job. I see myself getting this job. I just have to keep it in control. And then it's sort of just like an acting sort of thing. You're in a play, and you have to go through all the parts of the play. And so just show enthusiasm, be connected, and know when you get that aha moment that it's powerful. That's a synchronicity, and it will work out as long as you don't go to extremes. If, however, you're on the opposite end of this, I've been there and I've made mistakes too. If you are going into a negotiation for a job and you look around and you're like, I don't really want this job, but you sign on the dotted line, that is this. It's making a contract that you don't want, and it traps you. And that's all that is. So don't do that. Or if you're at that table, make it a sweeter offer. Really fight for what it is that you want. Make it worth your while. Don't accept less than what's there. You have the power to get it. You have to ask for it. And by the way, it's a great excuse. Let's say you're being pressured to do this, but your test can be, well, I'm only going to do it if I get this, 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 and this. Like ask for the moon if it's really not what you want. If you don't get it, then the universe is saying, yeah, you're not supposed to do it. If you get it, you can still consider, or you can walk away thinking, wow, if I could make something like that work, why can't I actually find what I'm looking for? So just test your power in this negotiation situation. For those of you that are negotiating something, you can walk out of this in a better situation than you think. Don't limit yourself, because justice and the devil could just be like, I don't think I'm worth it. And they'll say, yeah, you're worth it. Supply and demand. You're never going to get more than you're worth, typically. And even if you do, it's not going to sustain for a while. So if you get it, you're worth it. So just focus on shooting for what it is within realistic, sort of point of view. And you have a shot at it right now. All right. Looking at your recent past and what's kind of helping you or pushing you in a different direction in this moment, we have the Four of Cups. Hidden blessings. For many of you, you're focusing so much on what others are doing or saying that you could be losing sort of focus on something that's right in front of you. So Four of Cups is the universe saying, hey, have you thought about this? Or right under your nose or right around you, there's someone or something that has been waiting to connect with you and bring you to the next level. So, we had that review card that I was talking about. Monday, I think it was, one of the Swords cards reversed. Talk to some people around you. Get some feedback if you need it. Listen to what's going on and what's being said. You might get an idea out of the blue or out of that sort of slowing down and meditation energy. The other thing with the Four of Cups is that the grass is not always greener with other people. So just because someone else got married, started a family, bought a house, had a really exciting vacation, has a cool title. It's one aspect of their life. We don't know what else is going on. And why does that matter in connection to you? Where are you at? How do you. So basically, comparing yourself, it's not apples to apples, it's apples to oranges, because karmically, they've had a much different path than you. So they may be set up for things faster or slower this lifetime, and that's because of the work they've done before. And then also internally, we don't know how they're processing that quote unquote success. So don't compare yourself. Focus, reset the sort of vision on what's going on with you. Because when you focus so much on someone else, isn't it exhausting? And so I use that example of someone that was just shutting off communication. I ultimately thought, why do I even, this person isn't worth it. So I just stopped worrying about it, and I felt like this surge of energy come back, and I felt much better, and I was happier. So when someone doesn't want to connect with you, don't. I mean, unless it's a requirement. If it's just someone that's not interested, let it go. Focus on something else. Bring the focus back. And the best way that you can take something like envy or jealousy and use it in a positive way is to get inspired by it. So if you see someone that has something that you want, talk to them and see how their journey to success happened. Read about other successful people that have done the same. Work on yourself and think, well, what can I do in my own life so that either I don't need that or that I can build myself up so I have the same attributes. So take that person and make them an inspiration rather than a source of pain or jealousy. Just think, well, I can do this too. Not even putting them down if they could do it. Don't do that. Just say, they did it, I can do it. Keep it like in a really flat and neutral sort of energy. Or say, that inspires me to do something similar or better in my life. Okay? Always open yourself up to do something even beyond your wildest dreams. The biggest thing right now that a lot of you are needing to kind of focus on is just to be patient. What matters in life often takes time to develop. So the beautiful angelic temperance angel is coming through to remind us that patience will help you not take something for granted, to not step so quickly that you make a mistake, to not somehow underappreciate or miss something beautiful in your life. So it's asking you to slow down a little bit in this moment in time, much in the same way that we saw the energy of Monday. But this moment, when I'm doing this read, it's beyond the week. It's really up to 6 to 8 weeks as we're looking at these special topics. So I would say for you, the things are happening and they're unraveling, and in a good way. But what you have to do is sort of just be patient, be mindful, and do your best to direct that sort of unfurling is a better word. And patient, diligent, perseverant energy will pay off. Near future. And so this is really the desired action that you need to take on something. We have the King of Swords. Ultimately, people are looking to you to see, sort of like we said this during the weekly forecast, where do you stand? What do you want? And by stating that and by showing that and by doing that, you're going to basically make them feel very good about why you're the right person for whatever it is that you're trying to manifest in your life. Know this. It doesn't matter if you're air or not, if you're Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. Any sign has the capacity to connect to the King of Swords. So people are interested in what you have to say and what you have to offer. So speak up. This is the time not to be a wallflower. This is the time to really kind of let them in on your perspective, your experiences. Okay. And then take action, own it. Be not just the king, but also kind of like this ace card as well. Ace of Swords, very much like using your hands. So writing, building, acting upon, like in everyday life, taking the necessary action. Again, maybe writing and communicating a little bit more about it, but it's basically saying to walk the walk and talk the talk, or put your money where your mouth is. So make sure that you can follow up on your promises and that you are doing your best each day to get a little closer to the goal. I was talking to a friend recently about this. For any kind of manifestation, you want to start the day with an intention. A lot of times it's like that old Dolly Parton song, 9 to 5. We're just trying to wake up. You're stumbling in the kitchen, you're drinking some coffee, you're just trying to get to work and get through the day. But if you can start the day a little bit more with intention, it's going to be more successful. So as you're in the shower, or when you've hit the snooze alarm and you're sitting in bed for a couple moments, focus on saying, even just a simple thing, I'll make today a great day. Today's going to be great. I don't know why yet, but I know it's going to be great. Or today's going to be better than yesterday. At least go to that. And just focus on setting it on the right tone. So this is especially useful for Monday or Sunday, where sometimes we have that feeling of, as I started to kind of work into my own self-employment several years ago, I realized days of the week don't matter. I can work on a Sunday and I can take off a Wednesday. So a day is a day and I can make anything of it. And every day can be good, including especially a day that I work. Why not? So open up to just it being a day of opportunity. And you could think to yourself, I can't wait to see what opportunities await me today. Not like, it's Monday. Or looking at the clock and thinking, when is it going to be 5 or 6 or 7 or whenever your workday stops. Don't wish away time, and don't sigh at the beginning of a day. Breathing's good, but breathe in the opportunity. Breathe in the power, breathe in that feeling that you're going to do something special. trust me, I've been on the other side of it, and it doesn't work when you just sigh and wish it away. It makes the day longer. So you want to feel that you can actually do a lot with it. Okay. Environment. This is where the biggest shift needs to happen for many of you for leveling up. So some of you, it's not so much internal. It can be like the morale of the group that you're with, that you're spending time with. So we have the Nine of Swords, and we can even see the energy, the group energy coming in and encroaching on your sacred space. Remember the really powerful Nine of Swords card that I had just a couple moments ago. I don't know where I put it. Oh, the deck is over here. Okay. All right. So if I look at this, the Bear card, the truth of the matter is you're much stronger than you may give yourself credit for or others give you credit for. So you need to find that inner bear to sort of find a way to fight back. Okay. And again, I use the word fight sort of more figuratively, because the way to fight fear is through education, through breathing, through kind of telling yourself and knowing that you can do this. But you may not be sleeping enough. You may be in an office where people use fear as a quote unquote motivator, or they try to use that as a management style. There could be a lot of fear-based people around you that are tuning into events happening and thinking that only worst possible outcomes can continue. So your job is to reset, to pull back a little bit from that. And if and when possible, it's not always possible, especially if it's directly in your family, but if and when possible, to decide to unplug and just say, that's not worth my time and energy. Even if it is someone directly in your friend or family group, you can you just remind yourself, all I have to do is plant a seed. I don't have to make them do something. All I have to do is keep a door open. I don't have to, force them to come through it. You're just there as a reality check, but you're not the sort of, you don't have to change their life for them. That's their free will. They can choose any path that they want, and you can choose to focus on other things as well. And that's the advice here, is that there's something around you, a person, an environment, or something that you're investing your time and energy into that probably needs less of your time and energy. And in the absence of that, it may kind of reset on its own, okay? Because the Nine of Swords isn't sustainable. So if you stop feeding into it, it will, especially if it feeds off the fear, like if it's a person, they just like to kind of push your buttons, they'll go to someone else. If it's someone that's codependent and they like to kind of dump all of the fear and anxiety on you and you're just not reacting to it, then they may have to deal with it themselves, so they'll find another person. But it can't exist in a vacuum, and it will starve itself or go somewhere else. So not reacting to that, not letting it push your buttons, you're going to find all this power that you didn't know you had. And that's why they put the bear on that card, I think. So enough said with that. Justice is a no. Sometimes. And so when she's on the side, like crossing the devil card, or when it's upside down, it's saying, like, I love myself enough to say no. I know that I can do better than this. It can be divorce, quitting, walking away, or simply saying no. So with this environmental card, justice especially is coming in and saying, this doesn't match my energy anymore. I can do better. As we look at hopes, fears, and opportunities, focusing on opportunities, we have the Eight of Wands. This is a nice development and next step from the Seven of Wands, which we saw in the weekly forecast. And the traditional illustration for this is a bunch of wands flying through the air. In some decks, you actually see them like rocket ships, and I used that little emoji today in the main graphic. So this is about things taking flight. So it may not seem like it yet, but things are going to start moving faster, and you're going to have to keep up. So this is why I want you to really focus on not worrying so much about if something won't work out, what other people are saying or doing, why you haven't gotten something someone else has, why things are happening at the speed in which they're happening. Imagine that it's all being set up. Like when we look at what you've done in the past, you have the power to communicate effectively. Other people are really interested in what you have to say. Once you start focusing on that, you see movement. That movement then leads to rapid productivity. And then we see people talking and people recognizing that productivity. Yeah, there are a few blocks that are coming through, but they're manageable blocks. And basically it's by unplugging. Sometimes the devil is we use that phrase, devil's advocate. The devil comes through, and it came through at the center of this, to make something so uncomfortable or so not connecting to you that you have to be ejected. So Devil, Tower, Ten of Swords work in a very similar way to your benefit. Once you experience any one of those, you're like, I don't want to do this again, or I can't do this anymore, or any longer. So to me, I feel like you're just on the precipice of understanding that this was limiting, this isn't right. And now, once you release the limit, I like that they actually put a horse on this particular card for the Eight of Wands. We see them carrying all the wands here instead. But things will happen quickly. And to your surprise, you may have a hard time keeping up. There's just going to be so much going on. So I think that one of the opportunities for you is to stop worrying so much about something not happening and start preparing for what might happen if it does. How you're going to keep up with it, what you might do if this does work out. Are you ready to make that shift, that move, that adjustment, that transformation? Because it'll happen faster than you think. When I was looking for my place, I spoke with a fellow intuitive, and she told me, she said, it'll happen in 5 days or less, and it'll happen over the holiday. And she was spot on. But part of that was also me manifesting that. All I needed to hear was it was possible, and then I believed that it was possible, and then I made it happen. And then I was like, all right, now I got to start packing. So much in the same way that things happen quickly, when you allow them to happen quickly, I want you to be ready. So get your life in order, whatever that means, finances, anything else that you need to do so that you can, like this, almost like a knight on this card, but the Eight of Wands, so that you can start to sail forward with this opportunity. Okay? I really love what we have here in the outcome. So Three of Cups is a good card. It is celebration, it's new love, it's opportunity, it's word of mouth, it's fun. And it's also sometimes an invitation. So someone could be beckoning you into their life, or inviting you to a party, or tapping you on the shoulder and saying, hey, have you considered this? It's also the card of courtship. And so one thing that we don't want to do with the Three of Cups is to rush the courtship. So if you look at what's going on here, this is saying, get to know this person, place, or thing. Be patient with that. Make sure that it is an upgrade from what you had before, and don't get lost in the shuffle of everything going on. But what I see here when we look at future or near future and outcome, they're very, very positive cards. So this is you and your voice and your actions attracting positivity and productivity. These three cards here are really all we need to focus on. This is near future, this is possibility, and this is outcome. All this other stuff is fun, and it's context, and it gives us things to look at, but these show me where the power is. Yes, this shows me where the limit is, but it's in a place where you're ready to let it go, and you actually have a power card on top of it, muting it. So I think you're in a good direction. Whenever I get the Three of Cups, a couple of things are coming through with this. For some of you, committing to something long-term seems to be a little bit nerve-wracking for you right now. So what you could try to explore is what's the next level of stepping in and committing to something. So, you may be, when we're looking at marriage, full-time employment, or buying a house, all of these kind of involve contracts. And so for some of you, there are interim stages to those. So you can do engagement before marriage. You can rent before owning. Maybe there is even a rent-to-own option out there for some of you. And for other things like jobs, there can also be like temporary to permanent work. Or you could start with a contract that then could be picked up for something more. So maybe it's like a longer term contract. You can look at the half step if that's what you're looking at. Because when we look at different levels of commitment, the Fool is not committed at all. The Three of Cups is deciding. It's dating. It's figuring things out. And then the Lovers, the Two of Cups, the Four of Wands would be, yes, let's seal the deal. And the Ace of Pentacles. There's a lot of different cards that can show love and commitment. But Three of Cups is just about saying, I like what I see. So for some of you, you're not ready yet. And maybe you can communicate that and say, I need a little more time. You could ask for some time. The number one lesson that we're seeing now is don't get into something before you're ready. And I'm seeing that some of you may not be ready for that final signature on the line. Ask yourself, is it just fear? If it's just fear, you can work through that. But if it's more than fear, we don't want that anymore. So you're going to walk away from that and towards opportunity. But if it's like, I don't like the stipulations here, or I need a little more time here, et cetera, ask for what you need. You have a good chance of getting it. Okay? So there we go. There could also be a new person coming into your life. This person, there's an element of surprise when I see the Three of Cups in reverse. So it could be not your usual type if it's sort of someone that you're dating. If it's someone for business or opportunity, they could be coming in a way or a fashion or a timing that wasn't convenient, but is nonetheless appropriate. Okay? Let's quickly expand this forecast and take a look at health, wealth, love, and destiny and put it through the lens of leveling them up. What's the opportunity for improving it? And if there's a block, for releasing that block. We'll begin with the health card. And we have the secret spring here, success. So yeah, that's a great card. It's coming through in reverse. So I think almost everywhere, I have to always remember that the southern hemisphere is in a different thing. So you're actually closer to spring. So if we're in summer, southern hemisphere is in winter, correct? So for many of you, this could be like 3 months out. A big shift, a big positive movement happening with respect to your health. You'll see some movement here. But when I think of spring energy, I also think of an awakening. So why don't we take it on that, because right now, none of us are in the springtime or even really close to it right now. So what I see with the spring energy is just because you don't see it doesn't mean that it's not there. A tree without leaves does not mean that the tree is not alive or will not have leaves within a few weeks or months. It's that sort of latent growth. It's been growing all winter. It's been holding its energy strong, and it's about timing. So for your health, there could be subtle below the surface improvements, and the spring energy, which again, any sort of season, we can look at it as a 3-month sort of cycle. You're going to start to see more and more as you get into that 3-month cycle, but right now it may not be obvious. And any of you that have done anything with your health, day one, very few changes are going to happen. So, if you're trying to lower cholesterol, if you're trying to increase muscle mass, if you're trying to lose weight, whatever it is you're trying to do, by the way, standard disclaimers apply. I'm not a doctor, but I'm just talking about what you're focusing on with this. You may not see it immediately, but you'll start to see it a week in, a month in, a year in for sure. So give yourself time to allow those little subtle changes to happen. Going back to the temperance angel at the top, patience is everything, diligence is everything. Don't give up. The big message for health is not before you're ready, not until you're ready will the success really come through. So the devil card is the sort of, again, whether it's devil or seven of swords, sometimes we think we're ready, but we're not, or we're not fully committed. So you have to be fully committed so that justice can step in and say, all right, we're going to do this. Okay? So the first and the most important step is commitment and admitting whatever it is that you need to focus on. Don't beat yourself up, whatever's going on. Again, patience, communication, action. For many of you, just quality of sleep and stress release, or relief rather, is going to be important, both really. And that's what I'm seeing here. Don't go to extremes. This can often come through when we self-medicate or when we do too much of something to try to distract ourselves. So avoid that. Really focus on commitment and not feeling like you failed yourself. All that's important is you're deciding to make a change. Stick to the affirmative. I'm strong, I'm capable, I'm ready for this change. I've had enough of that. And there's no regrets because right now you're ready to change the focus and the narrative. And you can see a different future. You're imagining something that may not be obvious to others, but you know that you can do this. Okay? So that's the main thing here. I do think some of you might be burning the candle at both ends, working too hard, in other words, and underestimating the value and importance of sleep. To me, that was the single most important reason that I needed to move, because we're almost half a year and they're still doing construction. I'm like, I can't forever have this change in my sleep thing. I was hoping to do it just for a few weeks or a few months, but it's kind of permanent here. And I thought, I need rest. I'm tired. So you can only know your limits, know what your body can do. And then at a certain point, you have to say no, or you have to find a better path or a better way. Okay? If there's anything coming through and you feel like the fear or the anxiety is too much, definitely talk to a professional about that. We all go through moments in our life where things just feel heavier, whether it's loss or divorce, separation, money issues. And all of those times, it's best to talk to someone who has some advice and some support to help us, again, neutralize our sort of energy. That was your health card. I love what we see for wealth. We've got harmony and music coming through. So your role could be that of just doing something beautiful that really pulls people in. You could also be the role of conductor, which is, back at the beginning, I pulled up the Chariot card saying people may be looking to you for advice, for direction. But it's also saying, you remember the Two of Cups that I had, where part of what you want to do is come into a communication with that sense of ease and harmony and empathy. So, hey, it's good to see you. What's going on? How was your weekend? Remembering where you left off in a conversation shows that you cared more than topically. So you could ask someone, say, hey, the last time we spoke, you were mentioning this. How did that work out? I was meaning to ask you. Start with that and then say, I have some questions for you, but I want to see, is this a good time? Like, ease yourself in. Just like a song, it starts, you don't go straight to the chorus unless it's like EDM dance or whatever. But most songs, there's like chorus and verse and all these other things that will happen. They have to weave themselves around. So you start by telling a story, and there's usually 2 or 3 stanzas before you get into the chorus. So before you get into the big so what, start by showing that you see them. Start by asking about something, check in on the timing, and then get to the point. But it's a lot nicer to do that than to just go straight in. So harmony, music, connection is going to be important. And this is whenever, for those of you that doesn't matter if you're in a band or not, you know that they all rely on each other. They have to listen and pay attention. If the drummer beats too fast, the vocalist is like, I can't catch up to that, or you're going too slow. Or the person that's playing bass or guitar is like, what are we going to do? So everybody has to keep in time and has to work with each other and stick to the plan, or kind of deviate together. So this is a team effort. And if you're not together, it's going to be discordant. So do your best to kind of like harmonize and find that harmony. Specifically looking at the cards, I think some of you are ready for a change. The Devil card and the Justice card is basically saying, I want more than this, I deserve more than this, or I've reached my cap of learning or of experience. And now I feel, I've used the sort of example of a bonsai. It's like a bonsai where the roots are root bound. And part of the technique is actually to trim the roots, trim the branches, and stunt it. So some of you are feeling stunted by current experience. So it's okay to say, this doesn't work for me. I'm looking at Apollo, who's now on his back and completely relaxed. It's amazing. He gets tired as he listens. But anyway, we want to feel that sense of ease and openness that my little puppy does in the background. So if you're not feeling that, if you feel stunted, blocked, or like there's a glass ceiling or constraints put upon you, then without any shadow of a doubt, now is the time to move beyond that. If you've been giving a lot more than you've been receiving, she's just coming through justice to say that you need to find a balance, find a way to make it work. So that's the first thing that I see, is to say enough is enough, and literally use communication. Put it in writing. So if someone says we can do this, then say, all right, great, let's put this in, for those of you working, in my annual performance plan, that whatever you guys call it, your review, etc. Like what it is you need to do, how you're tracking, and when it will possibly come through. Because it's a lot harder for them to hide from something when it's in that sort of review or writing. Be proactive and do things on your own. See what else is out there. Don't be afraid to look, because these two are working together. This is basically the captain of the devil, the Nine of Swords. So fear and anxiety works to kind of keep you stuck. So don't be afraid of what you might find. It might surpass your expectations. And talk to some people that you trust. But one thing to avoid is gossip. So I'm all for reaching out to a trusted friend at another company or somewhere else out there. This is especially for those of you that are job seeking, because word of mouth is a powerful way to get where you need to be. But in your present situation, be mindful of who you tell what to, like basically who you're speaking to, because I see some loose lips with the Three of Cups there. Also, there may just be a lot of complaining. You don't want to be a part of that. So basically, we see breakthrough cards inhibited by fear and sort of like limitation cards. So you are going to untether yourself from that. I think that's the key thing here. Okay, let's see. What else is coming through? I really want you to pay attention. Periodically, I want to revisit this one. But if you see something, but people are not allowing you to go after that vision, that goal, that dream, or they're lacking the same vision, then it's time to, again, kind of environmentally decide, why am I connecting with this? What's going on with this again? And maybe you're just not in a company that has, or a group or a situation that has the sort of vision or visionary energy that you require. So untethering, freeing, saying no, somehow finding equilibrium. So if you stay, you have to find equilibrium. You have to find that harmony, because it's discordant right now with this reversed. And if you want to leave, you're getting a lot of encouragement to do so. And the conduit to the next possible thing for you is through word of mouth. Friends can help you. And I think it's so important to get out of this sort of either lack of sleep or negative situation around you, because that's just sort of like pushing your potential down, and we don't want that. Okay? But ultimately, someone out there wants to make some wonderful music with you. Your ability to empathize and to bring the best to a communication or situation will help you negotiate, will help you exit something with grace and dignity. That's always my goal in a final sort of like goodbye, is just to do so without any karma, particularly for a tricky person. It's like, I don't need to see you in this life or in others. Let's just leave it on a good note. Even if you don't think they're deserving of it, it will help you tenfold. So smile on your way out the door because it feels like some of you are ready for that next phase or that next journey. All right. We just looked at health. We just looked at wealth. We're going to look at love. So we have Green Tara or Green Tara here, Supreme Protection. The card was reversed, but let's just read the caption upright. It says, you are protected, cords are being cut, move beyond limitation. That's like the whole name of the game today. And trust. So I would say, back to what we talked about earlier, trust in any rejection. This could be layoffs, even being fired, someone breaking up with you, someone divorcing you, someone just saying no to a request. It's okay. You are being redirected. It's also okay to not feel okay about that. But I would say focus on what's next. Back in school, we had these writing prompts. So the realization is not this. What next? Now what? And focus more on what's next than why. A little bit like why it didn't happen, but what else can I focus on? This isn't it. That final slide that I put up there saying, like, this isn't the end of the story. It's just the beginning of a new story or of a new chapter of a new phase. Let's look specifically now at how relationships might be connecting with this. So we see supreme protection, and I would also say timing, divine timing. The cords being cut here, some of you are ready and needing to sort of like get out of a relationship. So let's just look at this, okay? We're going to start first with those of you in a relationship. How can you improve it? The number one way that you can level up or improve it is through honesty and transparency. You have to do what's right. You have to say what's right. And you have to kind of balance the scales out. So your partner may be going through something challenging right now. They may feel like they're out of control. You may feel like you're out of control. This can happen when you have like a terminal illness and you're like, why me? And why is this going on? So what you really want to focus on is how can I be of support to my partner, and also for yourself, what can I do to find a level of control or autonomy even when there are certain things that are out of my control? I also believe in the power of mind over matter on some of these things. So focus on being as strong and as powerful as your channel allows you to be, because this energy wants you to give up. So don't give up. If it's something like that, if it's a real big challenge, but there's a lot of love and there's a lot of commitment, then you don't want to give up. But you do have to talk about what makes you afraid. Transparency and honesty will absolutely dissolve the energy of the devil, because there's no secrets, and then there's no power if there's no secrets for the devil card. Okay? For some of you, it's just too far in the journey and you're ready for something else. Maybe you feel like your partner can't see past certain limits in their own life, or they're trying to limit you. So you may need to step away from that. Whether you decide to stay or go, honesty is the key thing and the common thread. So as long as you're honest, you can still leave with dignity and grace. We see that actually here with this. This is a just card. The King and the Queen of Swords are very much connected to legal or justice energy. So this is one and the same. You can do it. Looking at how the partners show up. Let me see if there's another one. So interestingly enough, I'm seeing a big maturity gap here. Page of Swords and King of Swords. I like usually no more than one. It's great if we're looking at the same suit, that would be. So a page and a knight, or a king and a knight, or I'm sorry, queen and a knight, or a king and a queen. So one step away is great, but when we get to like 3 steps away or 4 steps away, it's too much. So I kind of get like parental energy or maternal energy, paternal energy. So for some of you, the main piece of advice is you're not your partner's parent. It's not sexy to be that energy, and it's not sustainable to be it. So what you're going to do is, because this can be codependency, and this can be you trying to control or to parent or to make them do something. So you're going to step back and empower them to fix this. Be there to support them, but they can't do this until they take ownership and accountability. So that's the big thing here, is honesty, and then letting someone else fix something, empowering them to do so, but you can't walk them through that. They have to be ready and willing to do that. Stress management is the biggest thing. And then for some of you, it's a question of commitment and kind of rekindling the spark for some of you. So there just may be a lot going on where you're not feeling the connection. So when the 3 of Cups comes through in a committed relationship spread, a lot of times it's just a reminder to remember what it was like when you were courting that person. So a date night, sitting down and talking, just being present with them, intimacy of all types, not just physical intimacy, that's important. But it may be time to just sort of reevaluate the relationship. I'm getting a lot of big questions with current relationships. 3 of Cups I also see as in-laws and third parties coming in. So you're going to have to navigate some challenges this month, but we have the Temperance Angel saying time, peace, persistence will bring you a lot with this. And remember that the devil is just the Lover's card in a lower frequency. So you got to bring it back to the high frequency. It's still there, it's just hidden. Some of you may meet a Capricorn this month too that's creating some of this turmoil, because the 3 of Cups and the Devil card could connect with that. Okay, so keep an open dialogue, talk about what you want, discuss your hopes and fears. Things will start to move in a positive direction if you do that. For those of you looking for love, you need to get through this moment in time first. There's something that requires almost all of your attention right now. Focus and fix and balance that out. Once that happens, yeah, it's a good time. I would say there's an environmental shift that needs to happen, or you need to get a little more sleep or take care of your health. And then there's something bigger or connected to that has to happen. But once that occurs, we have the King of Swords. And I think things could get serious maybe faster than you're even ready or willing to kind of like commit, because this is that question of commitment. And this is a lot going on and quickly. So remember what I said earlier, prepare for manifestation and how quickly things could manifest. So you could have a serious connection to this person and have to decide like, wow, I wasn't seeing something this fast with them. So that's why I want your life stable, so that if you want to, then you can go for it. But if this stuff is going on, then it'll be too much too fast. Okay? So slow the horse down a little bit and focus on finding the balance you need in your life and taking care of your health. If you're single and happy, a lot of those messages come through as well. Additionally, what I see is a really productive month for you. Ace of Swords, you're going to get a lot done, a lot written, a lot communicated. Everybody, irrespective of your relationship status, people want a lot more of what you have to offer. So you're going to be very busy. This is busyness. This is people talking. This is you doing great work. And this is you being stressed out. So if we just look at a career sort of thing that's coming in again, even though I'm looking at work here, it's a good month to be out there. Just have proper limits and boundaries. And that's what's necessary to success. All right. Finally, as we look at your destiny card, and then we'll do the viewer's reader's choice and go to the final phase after that. But this is just a reminder that you're already en route to overcoming whatever challenge is in the road. So you just have to think, I can do this. And also for some of you to look beyond the single path that you had originally kind of carved out. There's so many different ways to get there. You may have your heart set on one, but do yourself a favor and just entertain the possibility that there could be something different in front of you. And it's brave to actually, there was a line from You've Got Mail, which is from the 90s and looks painfully archaic now if you watch it, but the woman that played, is it Jean Stapleton or something? The wife from like All in the Family. She told the main character, she said, I think it's really brave that you're letting go of something because you're imagining a future that looks different. That's not the same. And I thought the movie as a whole could use, it's not, like it's dated and it's not the best, but I really liked that line because imagining a future that's different is brave. And sometimes letting go of someone or something, it's the bravest thing you can do because that's support. It can also be codependency. So if something is no longer flowing energetically towards you, the right thing to do is to try a different path. So you can overcome anything and you can imagine a different you, right? So I think that this could be a really exciting period for many of you. For those of you that are saying it's challenging, I know it is. And the focal point for you is to just think, but it's not always going to be challenging. And when I get to the other side, it's going to be really rewarding, really worth this energy that I'm putting into it. And building always takes work, but it's something that lasts for generations. When we look at like castles and like the ruins in Rome and different countries, those things have been around for centuries. So if you build anything important, yeah, it takes work, yeah, it's difficult, but the foundation is firm. So what you're doing right now will hold you up for the next phase and ostensibly for the rest of your life if you do it right. So take the time to build it. It's worth that energy. All right, I swapped things around a little bit because I can do that. I want to look now at viewer's choice and reader's choice. I think this is a better location sometimes for it because I wanted to see in the energy of the special topic if there was some things that we could focus on. So let's do that, and then we'll go into the meditation and the final card afterwards. All right, so give me a second here to just look at the cards and give you a chance to vote on a couple of questions. All right, so I think I'm looking at the temperance at the top, and I'm main thing that comes into my head is how to find patience, even when there's all sorts of crazy things coming in. How to be patient. I guess I could just say how to be patient. More patient. All right, and then the next thing here is with this, there's a question of like to stay or to go. Some of you may have that. And then releasing limitations. Any advice on releasing limitations? And let me see if there's one other thing. I'm going to look at stress reduction. I think that's a good one. Let me see if there's anything else. Maybe just working on visualization. So opening up to visualization. And basically that would help you see what's possible. So you have a few options to look at. while you're doing that, I'm going to focus on, what did I say I was going to focus on? Oh, stress reduction, because I looked at that. Because I think that's super important, and a lot of us may be challenged with the stress in our life right now. Change. All right. I was talking to just a new person that I met yesterday about a vision that I had had before. And this particular angel, Azrael, which is the angel of transformation and death. When I have seen this angel particularly in dreams, I always hear a frequency, a very high-pitched frequency with this. And change requires for you to kind of tune in and hear and see things from a different perspective. So I was asking about stress reduction, and we got the death card. It's time for a change. To quote Sheryl Crow, a change could do you good. So it's time, especially if there's been stagnation. And it's also time to change the tune. That's why I'm kind of hearing the high-pitched, it's almost like a string percussion, like a violin sort of thing. So this really high-pitched sound, it's time to kind of like go to a higher frequency and say, I'm ready for this. I know there's something more than this. I have to do this. So I think that you have to change up your environment in some way, shape, or form, okay? And also change the thoughts. It's a slow process. So when you reprogram, what you want to think about is one step at a time, kind of working your way into the higher programming or into the reboot, if you will. So if you are afraid of something or if you are blocked in a certain area, one of the things that you can kind of like focus on more is stepping a little bit in there. So let's take a real life example. Let's say you are trying to find a new job, or you're trying to figure out how to deal with stress at work. What you could start to do is what I said earlier, which is this person or this place isn't worth the emotional investment that I'm giving it. So the first thing you're going to do is decide to not invest as much with this. Then you're going to put a little bit less real estate. Imagine that your brain is like a hard drive, and you're filling it up with a lot of stuff, and there's not enough room for other things to develop. So when you open your heart and you clear out your hard space of your mind to focus less on something you can't control, and then start to fill it up with the questions, with the curiosity, with the exploration, with better people and engagements, then the other stuff actually naturally is going to start to go to the side. And then you will open up a new channel, and then the change happens, and then all this other stuff falls away. So it's just a mini thing here, like this isn't worth my energy. Well, what else is? And what's going on with this? And once you start to get a plan, well, think to yourself, like, how long am I going to stay in this situation? Because some of you, it might just be a question of time or cash. So you're going to look at how much do I need? How long can I actually sustain? And what's the timeline? What does that look like? Once you've accomplished that or laid that out, then there's this sense of power. You just got your power back because now you have a plan. And with the plan comes power and manifestation and eventual fruition. So you have to start to feed the energy of change and transformation. And the way that I've typically seen this particular angel is it at a certain point, it's inevitable. So if you feel like you need to do it before the Tower card comes through, right? Because death will pull that in if it needs to help you make the change. So baby steps, thinking like, I'm going to invest a little less in this person. I'm going to work a little less hard. I'll do exactly what I need to do, but nothing more. I'm going to start to look and put that energy into other things, leave on time so I can job search, go meet a friend for dinner and talk about what's going on, start to open up new channels and invest in new areas. And then slowly the change starts to happen. And you can apply this to any sort of energy that's going on, but you have to start to change the way you're thinking and acting in order for the stress to not affect you in the same way that it is or has been. All right, let's see what you chose for me. By a resounding amount, we have, I think, 34%. We'll wait for it here. Yeah. 33% releasing limitations. Okay, so that's good. Let's take a look at releasing limitations and hopefully help you through whatever this devil energy is, basically. Another card on how to thwart the energy. So we got the Ten of Cups coming through yet again. You have a great community, a great connection. And I guess one of the things that some of you can do is to tap into that connection, maybe more than you're used to. And if you have been sort of raised in a way where it's not, you don't talk about your problems, or, it's seen as a sign of weakness to ask, this card is basically saying the absolute reverse. People are really happy to be there, especially if they've offered or you've been there time and again for them. So right now, tapping into resources is key. And if you don't have them, because we don't all have the equal sort of like friend and family circle as others do, then it's about developing them. So one of the changes in your life right now could be a decision to get involved in the community, get involved in an outreach program, find a special opportunity or program out there that exists to help someone going through something that you are going through. But Ten of Cups tells me that there is more than one hand that's outreach saying, I can help you, or let's work this out, or I have an idea. So reach out, okay? And for many of you, this is also about prioritizing family or love or children or relationships in your life. And maybe there's someone or something that has kind of been holding you back from spending the time with the people that you love or doing what you love, because this is a very heart-centric card, okay? So pretty powerful. I think we just worked through all the main topics. We did. Just checking through it. Yeah, we did. All right, so we have one extra piece coming up, and that's going to be the meditation and the final card. So one thing that I do special in my readings is instead of doing pick a card or pick a deck or any of that, I will allow all of us to focus on our collective question silently that we have, and I'll pull a card that picks up on the energy of that. So start thinking about something that I haven't covered yet, scribble it down, or just keep it in your head when we meditate, and then I'll pull a card at the end so we can get some clarity on that. Before I do that, you'll see I have the subscribe thing up here. If you haven't already subscribed, please do that. We're still very close to me doing a Q&A. We're at 323,000 subscribers. It seems like it's taking about a month to go up each one, so maybe we're around 2 months away for that. But the sooner we can get to 225 rather, I will do a Q&A. So opening up special questions. First come will be like members and Patreons, and then I'll allow for some additional ones in the live reading itself. So let's get there, because I like doing those kinds of readings together. Join me on social media if you need any reminders. Like I said, next month my time should be going back to normal, and I should be able to forecast out all the dates at the beginning. So follow me on social to keep in touch with all of that, remembering that I don't do readings and I don't use direct messages or chat. And if you'd like to show some support, I already see a bunch of folks that have done that. Thank you so much. I'll call you out at the very end here. Let's go ahead and get ready for our meditation. So today, looking at all of these different cards, I really like the transformative energy here of death. And I think what we can do is do it in a calming way to kind of see like the transition between night and day, being that sort of energy, going through one from the other. And I'll pull a card here from the Light Seers deck if I can find it, which is a beautiful death card that kind of shows like all the stars, all the new beginning going through the sort of shroud of death. So let me get that card ready. While you're doing that, I want you to imagine while I'm doing that, imagine yourself sitting on a hill, looking at the last few moments of the evening. So it's still twilight, and the sky is this sort of beautiful shade of midnight blue, and you can still see some of the stars shining in the sky, but it's just starting to move into the new day. And as you focus on this sort of ring of light around the planet, you also feel this sort of beautiful glowing energy coming from your heart center. And if you could kind of envision it, it's almost creating this ring or circle around you as well. This beautiful greenish sort of energy, and it's going in all directions, shooting up, shooting down, but it's this beautiful halo coming from your heart. And this is almost like a cocoon or a chrysalis that you are working in. It's an energy of change. And so just as we were looking at that beautiful shroud of change around you, imagine that you're putting on this beautiful sort of energetic shroud that is going to allow you to become something that you want to be. Stronger, clearer, more ready, happier, whatever it is that you're looking to create a shift within. Imagine that as you pull this sort of green robe around you of energy, you are starting to shift and grow and change. And as the sun starts to peer up on the horizon, at that magical moment when you just see it as a little tiny period, a little dot, it starts to shoot these rays towards you. And as you open up your cape, you realize now that you have these beautiful wings behind you and that you have shifted, like the angel of temperance that we saw. You are capable now of bringing what you need into your life. The change has happened in your heart and in your head, and you're just waiting for the universe to catch up with you. And imagine that it could happen faster and better than what you've already imagined in your mind. Relax as I play the singing bowl, and then I'll come back at the end to look at your final question for me. Take a deep breath. Really stretch those wings out for a moment. Stretch your arms a little bit. Stretch it up high if you'd like to as well. Bringing your hands back into your heart center. Focusing on your final question that you have for me. Knowing that in this moment, you have what it takes to do whatever it is that you're setting out to do, that you just have to trust yourself. So focus on that question. I'll pull the cards here in just a moment. We'll see what's going on. All right. So let's see what is going on with the final question that you have for me today. Page of Cups. Pretty good, actually. So the Page of Cups is a yes to a yes-no question. It is encouraging you to follow your heart. It is a call to connect with your creativity. And it's a reminder that, again, with all of the pages that we've been looking at today, to listen to your heart, listen to others, and to lead with empathy. Easier said than done, especially when someone else doesn't do the same. But by and large, this is very good, and it is a great card for sort of delivering something. So if you want to share an idea, deliver a message, ask for something, pages are very good at getting things started. And especially when we're looking at the Cups card here, getting a good outcome on this. Make sure that you are channeling your emotions, that you're not letting them control you, that you're not letting them completely sort of like pull you. You want to be kind of holding the chariot and channeling those emotions. And as long as you're doing that, I feel like you'll be headed in the right direction. It is a good time for focusing on love, relationships, self-care, creativity. Okay? All right. So let's go ahead now and wrap things up today. I just want to say thank you to everyone. Thanks to Dakota for helping with moderating today. Thank you to all of you for showing up. And let's go ahead now and say special thanks to those that might have given in the form of either joining as a member or for some of you also doing Super Sticker and Super Chat. By the way, I will be live this week looking at Leo, Virgo, and Libra on Monday, Thursday, and Friday. I will put all of those video reminders up later so you can join in if you like to. All right, so let's begin with brand new members, anybody that joined today or within the last day or so. Looks like Michael, thank you very much for joining, brand new member there. Sierra as well, thank you for rejoining after 2 months. Let's see, Burmese Jade, thank you for rejoining after almost 2 years, 22 months, thank you. Michelle Depoy, welcome and thank you. You've been a long time contributor, so I recognize the name. Thank you very much for joining. Marie Davines, I think it is, but I'm just going to say Maria D. Thank you very much, brand new member. Hitisha Katari, I think it is, brand new member as well. Jenny Davis rejoining after 3 months. Keela G rejoining after 1 day. Missy Gordon, brand new member as well. Deborah Thompson, and I think that's everybody. So thank you for all the folks who are a new part of this community. When I do the Q&A, like I said, you'll have a chance to submit some questions for consideration. All right, for Super Stickers and Super Chat, let me just quickly call out those who were participating here. So starting things off today was Anna Trumbley. Thank you for the very generous beginning here too, both Anna and Eileen, both doing 49. I appreciate that, $49.99. Let's see, Tracy Lynn, Kitty doing it again. Thank you so much. Leslie Horan, Jessica Valley, Mahima Lalit, Joanne Sin, let's see, Shayna Riley, The Amba, Tiffany Elkins, Sophie LeBrayton, I think it is, LCB, Tony D, Cut and Paste Life, Dana C, Mercathia Hughes, Lucy Rodriguez, Mermaid Crystal, Margarita Spinoza, Julissa Garabe, Jules in July, Kit F, Nina Early, Ruby Red, Jeannie Hart, let's see, Nada Collins, Sunflower 117, Ruby Red, Misha Crane, Cindy Toshik, and Isha Marie. Let me see, there might have been a couple others here. Sheena Davis, thank you so much to I can't say your first name, but something Pearson for 9 months of membership. Really happy to have you here. Looks like Ranganati. I can't say that. Sorry about that. I think that's everybody else. So BU, thank you as well for your membership. I appreciate your presence here. So to everybody, a reminder that I'm here every single Sunday helping you with the weekly collective. If you liked what you saw here, please share it with other people. Let them know. If you've been a long-time viewer but have never subscribed, consider subscribing. We're close to a milestone. It helps the growth of the channel. If there's stuff that you'd like to see me cover, put it in the comments below. I do read every comment. It all pops up on my phone and on my computer, so I sift through all of them. Let me know if there's some new stuff that you'd like me to cover on the channel, and I'll consider that as well. All right, everybody. Lots of love and light. Thanks again for your support today. Elisa, thank you. I just saw the 5. I appreciate that. Have a great week ahead, a great month ahead, and a great afternoon for those of you that are joining me and it's still daylight out. All right, everybody. Take care. Lots of love and light, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.